Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whisky. My name's VinPF, and on today's episode we're covering another English whisky. Now this month I am 3 for 3 on English whiskies. It's been a complete accident. It's just how the chips have fallen, so to speak, because this one we've got today is actually a brand new release, and I hardcore came down with a case of FOMO, the fear of missing out. Now this is something that I don't tend to subscribe to, I don't get involved in. Brand new releases come and go, like things like Darthmill is a great example. Whatever, Bimber, yes, they're awesome whiskies, but I just can't be bothered to scrab around and try and get hold of these things. Generally, my stance, completely understand why people would want to do this sort of thing. Then, this popped up. Now, this right here is a Waxhouse Whisky release number 4. So, obviously, I've missed the first 3 of these guys' releases. We'll go into a little bit about what they're about in just a moment. But the thing that really caught my eye on this one is this is a Cotswolds whisky. And as you guys know, if you've been watching me for any length of time, you know I'm a massive fan of the Cotswolds distillery. I've been to the distillery, it's my closest distillery, so I tend to enjoy them a little bit more, but you know, they really are making good stuff. So when this sort of popped up on my radar, I kind of had to get it because this is a brand new release. It only came out like last Friday if you're watching this on day of release. And something I should mention before I get into the actual video is there are still a handful of bottles left of this on these guys' website and, you know, around, generally speaking, on kind of smaller retailers. But if you are interested in grabbing hold of this before I start, then, you know, pause the video, go and check out the link in the description below, and you can pretty much get one of the last bottles of this going. There's like 324 bottles. Most of them have gone already, I think. But anyway, let's get into the actual review itself. Been warbling on about why I've got this. FOMO. I don't know why it happened to me. These things happen. So, Waxhouse Whisky. Now, these are an English company, but so far the first 3 have been Scotches. This is the first English whisky. Release 1 was a Glenturret under a kind of a different name. Then they had a Glenrothes 13-year-old. A Linkwood number 3 was the third release, was Linkwood 10-year-old. I actually did pick up a bottle of that as well while I was picking up this one. This one's still sealed by the wax seal, which is the kind of Waxhouse sealing kind of thing, which we'll talk about in just a moment. That's sort of hiding away back there. Review of that will be coming up in maybe a month or so to kind of give a distance between the two. But I wanted to cover this one first because this is the one that's still just about in stock. So yeah, Waxhouse Whisky, based in St Albans. It's headed up by 3 guys in 2018 who run the St Albans Whisky Club and kind of just started doing this, which I think is really cool. It's a really cool thing. I know I'm kind of doing my own independent bottling thing at the moment right now as well, so I kind of I really enjoy that kind of thing. People just, you know, regular normal people deciding to start independent bottling. Why not, indeed? Now, they're called Waxhouse because it's a homage to a local landmark, the Waxhouse Gate, and that's why they've gone for this kind of like waxy seal as well. And I guess why the X is there as well. But it's all kind of cool kind of stuff, you know. So anyway. Unfortunately, for my worldwide audience, it's probably going to be hard for you to get hold of, just like the majority of things I covered, to be fair. But hopefully you enjoy me talking about this nonetheless. Let's talk about the actual bottle itself, because obviously, as I said, this is a Cotswolds. So there's some good information on the bottle here on the label. Hopefully you get a kind of good vibe off that. But in case you can't, I think I showed you the wrong side. There you go. In case you can't read that on the video, this is a Cotswolds Whisky first fill STR cask, which we like, non-chill filtered, natural coloured, single cask, 4-year-old whisky. So we can talk about the colour, but yeah, obviously Cotswolds are a big user of these new STR casks that are coming out, and they produce very good whisky very quickly, but quite expensive to make, which is why this is kind of airing on that kind of £65 mark. It's also a 54% whiskey, which is kind of cool. I like that. There's a reason behind that. I got in touch with the guys to ask them because this isn't cask strength, but when they were choosing this whiskey, they got to try this at 2% ABV intervals from between 46% and cask strength. So they've done a lot of research into finding out the perfect ABV for them, and this was that. You know, they've put a lot of effort into that, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, so I've done a little bit more wittering about this than usual, but that's because I'm introducing you to a kind of newer company on the market. Hopefully that sparks your interest, but let's get into the whiskey that's waiting patiently under coin number 18. Yes, I do have very low numbers available right now. I've just done a kind of refresh about my entire stock. Loads of stuff's available, so make sure you go and check out nononsensewhiskey.com and have a look at the shop there if you're interested in picking up one of these challenge coins. Pretty cool little things, if I do say so myself. So, in the Glencairn then, obviously we have a really nice colour in this. Bear in mind, again, this is 4 years old, which is truly excellent. And of course, you know, this is Cotswolds, so it's pretty safe to say I'm going to like it, but let's get into it and see what we've actually got. Now, this one, as I usually say, to be fair, but this one really does benefit from sitting out on the side for a while because it's not a low ABV. It's not the highest I've seen from Cotswolds, which is something like 60.2 or something like that. But it is still pretty high. 54 is a decent ABV. But once that all disappears off, for me, this is just juicy is the word. Lots of juicy fruits, pears, baked apples, a little touch of vanilla, and a little bit of cinnamon as well. I'm basically describing something like an apple crumble, realistically. Such a good nose. Let's try on the palate. Now, obviously, we've got a high ABV here, but not so high that it's going to really destroy the palate. It's basically a nice balance on this thing. For me, it's quite thick and oaky. There's some tannins on the palate that I didn't get on the nose, which is really nice. I like that. More of those juicy fruits coming through from the nose, and for me it's kind of more vanillas and a little bit of added cherry that I didn't get on the nose. That's kind of coming through on the palate instead. In terms of finish, this thing's got really long and spicy. It's kind of like a, dare I say, a white peppery kind of spice on the back end, but it's kind of a long finish. For me, absolutely fabulous. Now, a lot of people will be kind of having question marks about the price point. It is expensive. It's £65, which is, you know, not cheap in terms of general bottles. But when you really look at what you're getting here, especially if you ignore the age, you know, because for me, I don't tend to worry too much about age on this channel. If it's good, it's good. That's the important thing for me. If you can create something like this in 4 years, then, you know, you've got to charge the extra for it, because it's not just the age that we're talking about here. We're talking about the cask choice. We're talking about higher ABV. We're talking about single cask. Plethora of other things involved in picking this kind of really good whiskey. Lots of care and attention. So for me, an absolute winner, as I knew it would be. The other one, the number 3 I've got here, I'm not that well versed in liquid, so I genuinely don't know what to expect from that, but it tickled my fancy. It looks good, you know, in terms of colour and all things like that. So I'm going to hopefully enjoy that, but I'll bring that to you another time. And if nothing else, hopefully this video has kind of sparked your interest in Waxhouse. This particular one got near to selling out. There's only a few bottles left now, but hopefully this has sparked your interest in checking out Waxhouse. Make sure you go and follow them on social medias for their next release. Who knows what they're going to do? Maybe they'll move back up to Scotland again, or maybe they'll try something a bit fancier. Who knows? Who knows? I certainly don't. So yeah, make sure you go and follow them if you're interested in this but missed out and want to get hold of their next releases. A winner from me.